There are 3 genius things Netflix did when they made Squid Game the challenge, and I want to talk about it, as well as how to apply for season 2 and if you even should apply. My name is Bethany, and I've got an opinion to share about Netflix's new reality TV show, Squid Game the Challenge. I will not spoil the winner or the finalists, however, there will be minor spoilers regarding some players' eliminations up until after Glass Bridge is over. So, what are the 3 things that made this show so compelling and so good? Number 1, the fact that they had contestants wear microphones 24/7. Nothing made this show more real and relatable than having players wear these mics like all the time, just like necklaces. Like Netflix didn't even try to hide it. So they all got their own audio tracks, and then you got all these cameras going in the dorm at all times. I'm more talking about the dorm in particular for this section, but you would expect you can catch some pretty good stuff. And for me, it was the conversations that happened in the dorms that sold it for me. Like getting to know these relationships between people. Obviously, it'd be so much work going through all these audio tracks, but it was so worth the time and effort from the company. This all made the games and challenges so much more interesting. And of course, you can expect there's going to be the players that make up dirt to cause up drama and also just get more screen time. But you have to remember and give grace that they are competing for $4 million. So you can kind of expect a lot of what comes out of their mouth is pretty legit because stakes are really, really high. But this was just such a good idea on Netflix's part. The second thing that made this show so good is the amount of unfairness that was portrayed. There are 3 particular times throughout the 10 episodes that my anger just like spiked. First off, in the beginning, you got these 4 doors of cookie shapes and people, all they have to do is just pick a door. Obviously though, no one wants umbrella, that's the problem. So they have to agree within a certain amount of time of what door they're gonna take. With the first group, I'll give a little bit of leeway, but they all got eliminated because one person wouldn't put their hand on a door. I mean, it's Squid Games, so like as a player, I feel like I would have just gone for it at the last second, but they didn't. But the worst part is how the second group of people have seen the punishment of if one person doesn't put their hand on the door, and the same thing happened, and no one was willing to take that one sacrifice, and it's so unfair to the other players. Like imagine telling people that's how you got out in Squid Games. It's just like, it's so frustrating. So overall, it takes 3 groups of 4 full-grown adults to just take one for the team. Selfishness is so intriguing and so destructive. Speaking of selfishness, I'm gonna talk about the worst moment of the whole series for me, seeing my favorite player be eliminated on the Glass Bridge. So I love the idea that this team agreed to do, which was every person would take 1 jump, so they got a 50% chance of getting out, and then the next person in line would just pass them and take their next jump. So overall, it's like equal chances for everybody. And I was totally rooting for 301 Trey, which is like the son and the mother-son duo, and then he takes his jump and he makes it, and I'm like, yes! And then it just takes for one player to be selfish and say, oh, I didn't agree to do this. And Trey was kind of caught in this situation where he's like, do I jump? Do I take time to like beg my team to go in front of me? I don't know why his team didn't step up sooner, but Trey, like he made that second jump and my heart like stopped, but then he made it. So I was like, oh, all good. And now like, you know, the chain's gonna keep going. But no, I don't know what happened with the rest of the people because I think they were all kind of just taking a little too much time to think of what to do. And Trey just made an impulsive decision. He went a 3rd jump and he's gone. And I'm sure he was so mad. I'm mad. I'm still mad. But I'm very surprised at how fast the other players seem to forgive Ashley for not going. I'm not saying she shouldn't have been forgiven. I think that's great and all. It's just, I wonder where that grace came from because, I don't know, if I was on that show, I would have been rooting for Trey, even as a player myself. So it was really sad for them to see him go. Watching that was sure like a life lesson on making impulsive decisions because I'm sure by that 3rd one, someone from the team would have just decided to step up because Trey's already made technically the jump for Ashley. Now the 3rd thing that just made me mad was watching those 2 players in marbles who couldn't agree on a game to play. And so by the end, when they had agreed on a game to play and they tied, they both get out. I don't know, it just seemed kind of like immature, I guess. I feel like one of them just should have settled earlier. It was just kind of like frustrating to watch, but I can't imagine being the player going home and being like, I was almost in the finals of Squid Game and I got out because the one time I had a choice, I couldn't even decide what game to play. These are the 3 top moments I remember from the show, and the one thing that they all have in common is how unfair they are. The 3rd thing Netflix did really good was the cliffhangers. I was that person who was like, I need to know what happens next. And I would watch the next episode until it got kind of slower, and then I'd pause it. The thing with Squid Games is, like, you never really know what's gonna happen. You can kind of foreshadow, but it's Squid Games. Like, you literally just don't know. So they did a really good job with that. If you're wondering, I finished the series in 5 days during a very busy school week. So you want to apply for season 2, or you're thinking about it and aren't really sure if you should. Well, I went to the website and was very sad to find out that you have to be at least 21. So if you're 21, you're good. But I am the age majority in Canada, which is 19, but I understand for legal reasons why they can't do that. So if this series keeps coming back and I turn 21, I can definitely see myself going for this. The website is squidgamecasting.com, and there are 2 things that I noticed that are really great. 1, the application process seems really easy, and number 2, it's open internationally. I'm gonna give you my reasons why I was gonna apply before I knew about the whole 21 thing. Number 1, who doesn't want a shot at winning $4 million? That's a pretty obvious one. Literally, houses cost that much in Vancouver where I live, so that'd be pretty epic. Number 2, I'm in school for acting for stage and screen, so having this experience on a set would be like crazy and great for my resume. And number 3, also, it would be a very humbling experience, not just because of all the people you're stuck with, but also just like the conditions. I mean, I heard rumors of how cold it was and how gross and dirty everything was and how much food they actually got. It would be a very humbling experience, and as a Christian, I think this would be a very good growth opportunity. In general, when I was watching, I could not help but think of how great of an example so many moments from the show were about like humility, gossip, etc. But yeah, I'm curious if any of you are applying, so let me know in the comments below, but I'll see you next time. Bye!